My wife, 2 kids, and I lived in a cabin in the middle of nowhere in Canada for almost 10 years. We all liked living in the bush because it was peaceful and quiet. Our cabin was out in the middle of nowhere and there were no roads getting to it. A few miles away, though, there were some other families who lived in houses. We would often trade and meet up for dinner, so over time, thin, faint tracks formed between our cabins. We had a small farm where we grew veggies and raised different kinds of animals. Our lives were mostly good and quiet, but things changed quickly. One night I stayed up late and read in our living room, as I often did. Suddenly I heard the cows running around outside very quickly. This didn't happen very often this late at night, so I moved the curtains away from the window that faces our garden. Moving quickly, it looked like the cattle were running away from something. They were on the far left side of the field. When I looked to the right, it was still dark, so I couldn't see much. But after a while, I was able to make out a very large deer standing partly behind a tree and facing the house. It's not moving at all. It was very still and just looked at me. Perhaps it was looking straight at me, but I didn't know for sure. It made me feel very nervous. Still, I didn't get why the cows would run away from a deer. Since it wasn't dangerous, I shut the curtain and read again. Like always, a few more weeks pass before my wife wakes me up in the middle of the night. What's going on? I was told to be quiet and pay attention. She looked like she had been awake for a while because I could see fear in her eyes. I could hear something slowly moving around the house in the background. The sound went all the way around the cabin like someone was pulling a stick along the walls. The sound stopped after going around the cabin once, though. That very moment I got up and checked on my kids in their room. Then I got my hunting gun and went to every window. Before I looked out my bedroom window, the last one I did, I didn't see anything. But there it was, the same deer standing in the dark forest and looking at me without moving. Really, I had never seen an animal do that before, and I had no idea what those sounds were outside the house. Something dark came over me, and I shut the curtain. It was making me crazy because I didn't know what was going on. It was hard for me to understand because I didn't believe in ghosts or possessives. I chose to walk a long way to one of my neighbors' houses in the morning to ask them if they had seen or heard anything strange lately. Before I went down the road, I told my wife to keep the kids inside and make sure everything was locked. As I ran the first mile, I tried to think of any reason why what was happening could be happening, but the more I thought about it, the scarier I got. As I got halfway to my neighbor's house, I had a strange feeling. Almost right away I heard the sound of leaves rustling behind me. It was looking right at me from the path, about 15 to 20 feet away. When I turned around, I saw its eyes. When I saw the white around its iris and small pupils, which is different from human eyes, I got chills all over my body. I went back around and ran all the way to my neighbor's house, almost crying because I had seen something that I didn't think was possible. Luckily, my friend was home and helped me feel better when I got there. The way he looked worried about me was different from what I thought it would be. When I told him what I saw, he didn't even look shocked. He began to tell me what he thought about the Navajo Skinwalkers as I sat in his cabin. He said they would only come out if they needed something from you or if you were bothering them. It seemed to calm him down to talk about it, which made me even more scared. After that, I left quickly, and luckily nothing bad happened on the way back. Over the next few weeks, I had terrible anxiety and couldn't sleep at all. But after a while of nothing else happening, I started to feel better. But the quiet life I used to have in the cabin was taken away, and I never fully got over being afraid of what I saw. We finally moved closer to town so that our kids could have a better life. I never told my wife or kids what I saw on the walk or what the neighbors told me. It's been almost 15 years since the events. Something inside me tells me to keep them out of it, and I'm not sure why. That's probably why I had to write this and share it now. I've been holding it in for too long. Now, I want to hear from you. If you were in those woods, what would you have done? Would you run, or would you stay and see what happens? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're ready for more chilling stories, Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one.